Oh man, I really want to be part of the superhero group. I mean, I've tried out a bunch of times for a few different ones and just never get the call back. But I know this time's going to be my time. It's going to be my time.
Okay. You need to just calm down.
I can't help it. I'm just so excited.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you wanna calm down, just chill out for a minute. What you should do is listen to the Pod Bros Network.
The Pod Bros Network.
Yeah, they've got tons of different podcasts. They've got stuff about video games, stuff about movies. They've even got Pencil and Ink Reviews, which is one about comic books, which is about superheroes, which is what you are.
Oh, there's a podcast I can be on, huh?
Sure. I mean, you'd have to chill out a bit, but okay.
Sweet. I'm going to download those right now.
All right. Sounds good.
So, what's your superpower, by the way?
Oh, me, I say sentences that are slightly homoerotic. I like penis.
Maybe we should just listen to the Pod Bros Network.
I like penis. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance. And boy, do I have a story for you that I have found. And this will make you giggle and it will make you smile. And this is it's something that it harkens back to our early days. Now, granted, our early days were not that far away, but yeah, early days.
Episodes like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, roughly around there. Our humble beginnings.
When we were just two guys trying to talk into mics and do this thing called podcasting.
Right. And now we have become two guys
who are trying to do this thing called podcasting.
With talking into microphones. All right. No. I'm not getting brought down. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here's the headline. Devon farmers warning over Nazi super cows.
What? Super Nazi cows?
Super Nazi cows.
Now, we all know that your fear of cows from the earlier episodes, that, they just kind of like sit there and chew and look at you in these weird, judging ways.
Like you're sitting there and you're waiting. They're waiting for revolution. That's what they're waiting for. They're looking for their moment. And when they have it, bye-bye human race.
Once they figure out those damn barred fences, we're screwed.
Right? Totally.
So what is a super Nazi cow?
A super Nazi cow. Apparently, in the 1930s, Nazi scientists experimented with genetic modification and genetic tampering, what they call the eugenics movement, where, obviously the Nazis were very concerned with, having like racial purity and this like, this Aryan super race, right?
Yeah.
Well, if it extended to, if it was good enough for humans, then apparently they felt it should be good enough for cows.
Why do I just envision like some guy like in the back of a barn like having sex with a cow? He's a Nazi scientist, and somebody comes back and he's like, "What are you doing? It's for the purity of the race. The cows need it too.
It must take my Aryan seed." Yes, but kind of like that, but different. Apparently, in the 30s, German scientists brought back an extinct species of cow called an auroch.
Oh, that sounds amazing. That's so metal.
Doesn't it?
That's going to be my next barbarian name.
That is totally a metal band. It's spelled Auroch. They were an extinct breed of cow in the the late 1700s. They were hunted because they were very aggressive, and there was a lot of German folklore stories about these great heroes that would come and kill these very vicious beasts.
Were they like minotaurs?
No, I mean they didn't like walk on two legs and shit, but they were very aggressive cows. So the Nazis I guess apparently took this DNA and crossbred it with like a domestic cow or a regular cow, what you and I know as a cow, and created this like genetic hybrid that they call it heck cattle, is what they're referred to today as.
Like
These
HEC?
Nazi, yes, these Nazi cows they're called heck cattle. So what they look like is they kind of look, they have big long horns like a bull, and they have kind of like brownish shaggy kind of fur, and they are super aggressive.
Like charging aggressive, or are they known to like maul like things?
They are
Like-
known to maul things like people.
Oh,
So apparently the reason that they wanted to create these cows is they wanted to, once the Third Reich was fully established, they wanted to put these cows on like nature preserves,
okay.
and then the Nazis would hunt them.
So you kind of like prove your manhood.
Right, it's super cows being hunted by super people in the Nazis' eyes.
So it's kind of like when the Predators had like the aliens, like they'd let them hatch, and you had to go and kill one of the aliens to prove you were a predator. This is the Nazi Predator version of this.
Exactly. This is exactly
Oh,
what
that
it
is awesome.
It's exactly what this is.
And instead of burning it with acid, they like use the horn to cut a Nazi symbol into your arm to show that you've reached manhood.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they like break the horn off the cow and like scratch it on their forehead. And they're like, "Arrgh."
Then they cut the tip off the horn and blow out it.
All right, so the story here's the story. A farmer who owns Britain's only Nazi cows has been forced to cut the size of his herd because they are too aggressive.
Oh goodness, he's already taken over like 4 small cities.
Right? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, these are the cows that are gonna run shit. Like you were like I remember like months and months ago, when almost a year ago, when you were like, well, I mean, like, who's gonna be the leader, and like, why haven't the cows like started revolution?
Yeah,
like, because here they are. This is where it starts.
The problem is they're racist though, so they won't want the other cows to join them. That's the thing that's holding them back right now. If they could get over their ideology of normal cows aren't good enough, they could probably take over the world.
Yeah. Let's see. The heck cattle arrived in Britain for the first time in 2009 when farmer Derek Gow imported 13 heck cattle from Belgium to his Upcott Grange farm at Lifton near Oakhampton. It was the first time the creatures had set foot on British soil since the Bronze Age. But Mr. Gow, 49, has now been forced to get rid of 7 of the cows as he could not handle their incredibly aggressive nature.
So he only has 13 and he still couldn't handle their aggressiveness?
Yeah.
Like, I just imagine these cows like...
I guess he whittled it. He whittled it down to like 6 or 7. So he basically like cut it in half.
I imagine like he's walking out there and like the cows like have their arms on like the fence post, and he's like giving them some hay, and he's like, "Hey, come look at this douchebag coming back over. Hey, douchebag, why don't you give us something else besides hay, douchebag?
I'm gonna gore his ass.
Lucky there's a barbed wire fence here."
Actually, no, they were probably like, "I will gore his ass in the name of the Führer."
I wonder what kind of names they were calling them. I just imagine like these big bullies, like that's their aggressiveness. They walk over.
They just all stand around him. He like has a bucket of feed and they knock it out of his hand. Like, nerd.
You eat it. And they shove his face in it.
Oh, he doesn't like it.
Just want to be your friend.
What the Germans did with their breeding program was create something truly primeval. Hitler saw the super cows as a symbol of German and Aryan might and tasked leading geneticists brothers Heinz and Lutz Heck to bring the aurochs back into existence. So he's like this is like an order. This is like from the top. Like, this wasn't like just, it's like some crazy Nazis like fantasy. Like, this was like an order from like the big cheese. Like Hitler himself is like, we need some fucking cows.
First, we'll bring back the cows, and then the butterflies. Well, I've always heard like he had like a soft spot for animals because didn't like some kind of dog like he was the one that really brought those back or bred them or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just love the animals.
But see, this was his thing. It was gonna be like the butterflies, and then we will bring back the mackerel. It'll be like land, sea, and air.
You just imagine people's like, so we figured out this genetic thing, so why not we bring back like the Tyrannosaurus Rex or the Stegosaurus or some
like,
mighty beast?
No, cows.
We need more cows. Like, don't question the Fuhrer. He is the one.
The cattle, which have lethal-looking horns and a muscular build, are unlike any modern commercial breed of cow. They were almost destroyed following the defeat of Nazism in 1945, but some survived after they were shipped to game parks in Western Europe.
So
Nazism fell, but the cows escaped.
It's just like I see like Hitler like it's his last few moments and he's like, no, Fluffy the cow, you must go Fluffy, it's up to you, survive. You see him like,
my dream will not die with me, it will be carried on by you, Mr. Sparkles.
Ding 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 ding.
Go, Mr. Sparkles.
Bang.
The half-ton cattle died out in Britain 4,000 years ago, but remained widespread across much of Europe until the 1600s. They were finally wiped out in 1627 after they were hunted to extinction for their horns, hide, and meat.
Oh, wow.
But apparently they have, it's good sausage. Nazi sausage is apparently really good sausage.
Well, I would think you said they were really muscular. I didn't think muscular meat was very good. Like, I thought it was really
like
tough.
Nazi steak.
Nazi steak. It's got pure blood in it. It tastes delicious.
Heinz and Lutz Heck found their descendants in a cattle from the Scottish Highlands, as well as Spanish fighting bulls. They identified the gene, which they were able to use to bring them back from the dead.
That's what they need to fight in those bullfighting rings. Make it more of a fair
Right.
fight. Like, oh yeah, so you see like because like that's a big thing over in Spain, like the bullfighting. So
Yeah.
the bullfighter comes out and he's got his tight pants on, he's wiggling his thing around, and like I just hear like like AC/DC blaring in the background. This big ass heck bull just walks out, flexing his muscles.
No, not even that. It'd be like Rammstein.
Oh yes, it would be Rammstein, wouldn't it?
Rammstein would be playing, and then this thing they would just burst out through the gates. And see, I think this would be like down in the South they have bull riding and stuff like that.
Oh
With
yeah,
the big meat angry bulls. I think that this could totally invigorate that whole sport, because then it'd be like a patriotism thing. Because it'd be like our boys have to beat those Nazi bulls.
And they all come out. They have like Nazi the swastika.
Yeah,
and
they shave it into them.
No, it's like they're so Naziized that they're born with it in their fur or in their wool or whatever it's called. Like they don't even people think it's a tattoo, but no, that's how they're born.
And we kind of dress them up in uniforms. He just has a little hat and a jacket.
There's some I don't know any German type things, but there's some dog with a little Hitler mustache that's kind of the manager of the bull.
Awesome. Oh god, that sounds so good. They'd be like, beat the Nazi cows, and be like, yeah! He said the ones we had to get rid of would just attack you any chance they could. They would try to kill anyone. Dealing with that was not a lot of fun at all.
Oh, it didn't sound like it.
I have worked with a range of different animals from bison to deer, and I have never come across anything like this. They are by far and away the most aggressive animals I've ever worked with. So they're not just trying to they're trying to kill you.
So I wonder what this guy looks like.
In this story, this guy's saying when he has to feed them, he drives through their pen and throws the food out. He drives in like not like a car, but like a mini kind of like four-wheeler kind of thing with like a cage on it and stuff, and he throws the food out the cage.
This is like real world Jurassic Park.
It is. It's totally like a Jurassic Park experiment.
He gets out there and there's no one there. Or he sees one way out there. He's like, I'm gonna kill this fucker, and walks out. One just bursts through the side. He's like, clever girl.
A little goat on a chain. Like what? There's a little chain dangling. What happened to the goat? Oh God! Don't move. It can't see you if you don't move.
Oh shit, that's great.
When the Germans were selecting them to create this animal, they used Spanish fighting cattle to give them the shape and ferocity they wanted. The reason the Nazis were so supportive of the project is they wanted them to be fierce and aggressive.
So I wonder, like you said, that guy who owns him, if what he looked like, if he was kind of like a brown hair, just like not the ideal Nazi, like, you know, ideal pure. Like if he was blonde hair, blue eyes, you walk out there and they like nuzzle up on you and lick you and love on you. But if you don't look like the Nazis' image of purity, then that's when they attack you. It's just been ingrained in them since they were, you know, created. Man, Nazis are fucking crazy.
Right? Like, who? Like, okay, we're not talking about like some crazy guy. Like, I mean, yeah, we are talking about a crazy guy, but we're not talking about just like, you know, just like the random crazy guy on the street or like somebody like a cult leader. Like, this is a guy that like ran a country, and he's like, we need cows.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like you would say like, oh, we need to
killer cows.
Like it's never anything like it seems like actually usable. Like, you know, we need, you know, genetically engineered bears or genetically engineered, you know, sharks or something that like is actually aggressive and could do something. It's like we need, you know, aggressive genetic, you know, cows. Cows is what we need.
German cows will be the kick-ass cows.
They send them over as a peace offering to the States and like, oh, hey, look, they gave us some cattle. And they pull down the rope and they just charge out and start killing everybody.
It was the thinking around the time that you could selectively breed animals for Aryan characteristics, which were rooted in runes, folklore, and legend. What the Germans did with their breeding program was create something truly primeval.
It's always weird to think about what he did with that stuff because they always talk about how he was very into the occult and like, you know, you have the Rob Zombie trailer of, you know, SS or the Werewolf Women of the SS.
Yeah.
And all the weird experiments that they tried while that time was going on. And it's just, I mean, I think that would be something interesting to sit down and see all the things that they were trying to accomplish.
Yeah. I mean, you look at, you have like, you know, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost, you have Raiders of the Lost Ark and, you know, the Last Crusade and whatever. But that's actually based on some sort of fact. I mean, he was looking for things like the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail, and he was looking for that. He sent people to find this shit for him. So he's like sending people to find the Holy Grail, and he's like making genetically modified super cows, like super angry cows. Like, where is the guy that's like, you know, that's like sitting like with his friends, like they're, you know, like they get done with a meeting and they're like out having a beer and whatever, or, you know, like out of a stein and they're sitting around the pub and like, you know, I think Adolf's kind of lost it a little bit.
You know,
what do you mean, Heinz? Well, I mean, super cows, but no, everybody's totally cool with it.
It's like, shouldn't we put that money towards some new like weaponry or something like that? I mean, we got really good tanks. You know, we do well with that.
Shouldn't we buy bullets? No. Super cows. Who needs bullets when you got super cows?
Next meeting, it's like, so Hans, I hear you don't like the cows. Well, whatever do you mean?
No, love the cows. Love the cows, mein Führer. Oh, great cows. Oh.
Well, now I kills you both. So let's do lunch.
So lunch? Apparently their meat tastes like a combination between beef and venison. So it's kind of gamey.
Okay. I want to hear more about the stories of like the German warriors that would go into the woods and fight these things.
Yeah, apparently it's based on It's like old German folklore that these old heroes would go and destroy these terrible animals.
The cow has been destroying our town for months. Now we
The
have.
aurochs were the wild ancestors of today's domesticated cows and reached sizes comparable to elephants.
Holy shit.
At least according to Julius Caesar, the cows are thought to have been the subject of many prehistoric cave paintings. They were also hunted by Europeans who used the horns as prize trophies.
Kind of like Babe in the Blue Ox type shit.
Yeah. So Caesar's like, fucking cows!
Cows the size of an elephant.
Like they come like, how was the trip to Germany? How was the trip to Germany, Caesar? Fucking cows! Cows as big as the fucking elephant.
And no pasta.
Oh, it's a terrible, terrible place. Like you see pictures of them, and they kind of look like furry bulls. They have these giant ass fucking horns, though. Like, I imagine this thing like charging at me with these fucking horns on its head, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Take
like,
the girl.
Yeah. Heck bulls average 1,300 pounds, while auroch bulls can reach weights of 2,200 pounds. So that's like a ton, a literal ton. Oh, plus.
So the ones that they have aren't even full bred. So like the actual real life ones that were extinct were, even more massive.
Right, because, this is like a descendant of. I mean, it's close, but they are not as buff as their ancestors, but they are just as fearsome. They are known to attack humans and other animals regardless of whether they feel threatened.
So do they fight each other a lot? Like, do they have to keep them apart, or does it say?
That's what I was kind of wondering, but like it doesn't say anything about. So I'm assuming, like, I'm seeing pictures and they're all hanging out. So I guess they're cool with other it's just like Nazis. They're just like Nazis. They're cool with other Nazis. They're fine unless you're different.
They're just dicks.
Right? Nazi cows are dicks. That's the lesson we're taking home today. Nazi cows are dicks.
So I don't. What other things did Hitler try to bring back then besides these cows? Do you know of any other ones?
I don't. I didn't even know about this.
God, could you imagine a T-bone on that thing?
This thing looks enormous. Like, these things look enormous and fucking scary with these horns, these giant horns on them. Like, I'm imagining this thing running at me, like charging at me. I'd lose my mind. It looks fucking scary as shit.
Well, I can only imagine like a normal cow or bull charging you seems scary enough, but one that's like twice the size of it and like just charging you for no reason other than you look different, or it's just, in the mood to charge.
Yeah. See, what I'm picturing now is I'm picturing like the Nazi cattle, the Nazi cows, like somehow have like migrated their way into, like the U.S. population of cows, and that's how they take over. Like, all of a sudden, like, the cows attack, and then, like, they storm through the White House, and then they're like, what do you want? And they put a Nazi flag on it, and they're like, oh, God.
The plan has finally been, fulfilled.
Now we must bring back the humans.
Try to bring back the Fuhrer, and it's like, half the size and, only half the mustache, and not very smart at all.
Where is my beloved Bessie?
Mr. Sparkles, where are you?
So we were talking a long time ago about bears, and then we took it a step further and we said zombie bears. And then I said, what's the one thing everybody hates more than zombie bears? Nazi zombie bears. So, I mean, I think this totally proves my point. I mean, cattle are scary. Super aggressive cattle are scary. Nazi super aggressive cattle, sold. Like there's a monster. That to me seems like a monster.
That is a real life monster. I mean, could you
Because
imagine?
it's because like they have their own, like not only are they super strong and super aggressive or whatever, but they're cool with each other, so they could almost like coordinate attack.
Well, they are pretty much like zombies then, because zombies all like, they hang around with each other and they're like, oh, that's something we can eat or attack. Let's go attack it.
Oh my god! And they're like super fast, so they're not like Romero zombies, or they're not shamblers. Yeah. They're charging with horns.
I kind of imagine what's the vampire movie where they go to Alaska?
30 Days a Night.
30 Days a Night, yeah. I kind of imagine, these Nazis take all these cows to, this remote town to see what they can do, and, this town gets attacked, and they burn it down. It's like, oh, some town in the United States was burnt down, and everybody died. Weird.
No, what would happen? It would be, what's that name of that town? Pamplona. It would be during the running of the bulls.
Oh.
They're running through this, the bulls are running through the street, and then one bull's like, now, my brothers, attack!
They're busting through those walls that people try to jump over and spearing them through the wall as they fall down.
They sliding down the wall and then you just see a horn appear from his chest. Save yourself. Tell them our story.
It's pandemonium down here, Greg. The cows have gone insane. Now the weather.
Apparently they were used in propaganda posters. If you see propaganda Nazi propaganda posters, and you see the big bull or whatever on the posters, that it's supposed to be this cow.
Okay. It's supposed to be the mythical one or the one they actually brought back?
No, the one they actually made.
Okay.
Also, how crazy is it that they were working on genetic manipulation in the 1930s? You know what I mean?
That's always the crazy thing to think about. I mean, it's just, like I said, I'd really like to be interested in seeing a listing of all the things they tried to do. And if they put all the effort they put into that, and I don't know, was the United States doing that kind of stuff at that point too? Were they sending people to look for the Holy Grail or the Ark or anything like that?
I doubt it. I mean, we're not crazy.
We just sent Indiana Jones. That's all we did. Some crazy professor's I'll go find the Ark. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? I'll find it.
Hat. You're indoors.
Well, what do you have a whip for? I like to whip cows. It's perfect. Go.
Yeah, so he had a herd of 13, and he had to whittle it down to 6. And he didn't send them to another farm or anything. He sent them straight to the slaughterhouse.
I wonder if they had to go one at a time or how that would work. I just imagine you try to cut their head off or shoot them with a bullet and it ricochets, and now that slaughterhouse doesn't exist anymore.
And they're like, ha, fool! We have also been genetically made bulletproof!
Like the turtles.
How do we know that those cows actually died? I don't see any story here about the cows actually dying. Maybe they escaped.
They're out there in the wild. That's where they're at. They're plotting the demise of Great Britain.
Yeah, it's like Rise of the Planet of the Apes or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. They have this little cow community, Nazi cow community out in the wilderness somewhere.
One of them name is Caesar.
They go to hit the cow, and the cow's like, moo!
Moo!
Caesar, moo.
Did you say its name?
Zombie Nazi cows. How can you not beat that? I felt like the internet god smiled on me that day when I saw that story. I was like, "There's what?" I was like, "We've talked about Nazis and cows."
The only thing missing is the zombie part, but really, they're essentially kind of like zombies.
They are, because they were brought back. I mean, this is a species that was extinct, and they were brought back from the dead. brought back Nazis bringing an animal back from the dead to show off their Nazi supremacy. And it's a super aggressive animal. Let me show you my cows.
I wonder if Hitler ever tried to ride one.
Yeah, because, I mean, Putin rode a bear. I mean, granted, that's Russia, but, like, he's, there's a picture. Like, he's on a bear. He's riding it like it's, I don't know, like it's a horse, like it's a pony.
See Hitler's on that bull. He's like, okay, it's the serious one. Serious face. Okay, now a fun one. Silly faces.
Come on, Mr. Sparkles.
That one goes to the back of the album. No one sees it but us. Then we laugh. It's all in fun.
Oh, God. Oh, shit. So you have, it's like, and then, like, they go off and they're like, let's get ice cream, Mr. Sparkles. Like, they're licking, like, he licks it and then Hitler licks it.
He's got, like, a little Nazi bow in his hair. Mr. Sparkles, you're my one true friend. He's the only one that loves me. He's the only one that understands me.
It's the voice that's killing me. It makes me oh, Mr. Sparkles.
Yeah, he's got kind of a high German voice. He talks with a high accent, and so when people are around, I talk serious. But with Mr. Sparkles, it's a little more fun.
Serious, I will maim, I will kill, but not with Mr. Sparkles.
Maybe that's when it all went downhill for him. Like he's like with Mr. Sparkles, like Mr. Sparkles, just stay here. I'm going to go across the street to get some ice cream. Walks across the street, gets some ice cream. He's like, Mr. Sparkles, I got the ice cream. Mr. Sparkles, no! Honk, honk. Thump, thump. Mr. Sparkles!
No! Maybe he had the last one. Like, maybe they weren't extinct and he had the last one, so he brought him back so he could bring back his friend.
Yeah, the whole Third Reich was just a way for him to get Mr. Sparkles back.
First order of business. Jews? No, not Jews. Cows.
I thought he had a problem with Jews. Kills that one. He does not listen very well.
Heinz? Right, cows. So...
When do we talk about invading? No, it's not yet. We're not done talking about cows.
Oh, first we need the cows, and then we will all have ice cream.
Mr. Fuhrer, would you like some sparkles on your ice cream? Mr. Sparkles! Kill that man!
Kill that one!
Never say sparkles around the Fuhrer.
Okay, even loading them onto a trailer to get rid of them was a challenge. A very athletic young man had to allow the beast to charge him as he stood on a ramp. Gao says that with the culling of the more violent animals, peace has returned to the farm. Despite these problems, I have no regrets at all. It has been a good thing to do, and the history of them is fascinating.
Imagine that dude. It's like he's at a bar. It's like, hey, do you want a job? It's like, yeah, I need some money. It's like, all right, so $20 for an hour of work? Oh, wow, that's a good deal. What do I need to do? Stand here.
Stand on that ramp. Okay, now what? Oh, God!
Wow, that was intense. What do I do now? Stand back on the ramp.
Get back
okay.
on the, we still got like 10 cows to get on here. So yeah, these cows are just attacking. They're not even attacking because they feel threatened. Like, they're just like, I don't like you because I see you, and so you must die.
Well, it's odd, too, because, like, you could easily, like, have somebody say, well, it's territorial, but you said they like each other, so that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because like I said, like I see pictures, and they're all, like, standing together. They're just hanging out. It's not like they're trying to kill each other. They're all just like, eh. They look, I mean, they, like, you see, looking at pictures of them, and they just look like cows standing around. I mean, they look giant and mean and aggressive, but they just it looks like they're not bothered with each other. But then you see the story, and it's like, oh, whenever anything, if they see something, then they want it dead.
Do they eat it? Do they eat it, or do they just like trample it to death and then walk away?
I'm guessing they like trample it and gore it.
Okay.
Because, like I said, these are some big ass horns.
Well, it's curious because I mean, like I know, like you hear farmers who get attacked by. I guess like when we talked about it earlier, like more people are killed by cows than sharks. So like I know, like in some farms, like pigs.
It's probably just these.
It's just those, yeah.
Like these are
those 13 cows have killed more people than all the sharks in the world. It's like, no, we can't let them go extinct. So I guess the big question is would you want one, and two, would you hunt it? That's like a.
What I would hunt, I would totally hunt it. I don't know if I'd like want to keep one, like just to hang out. But I would totally hunt one. And like seriously, like if you were hunting one and you killed one, like wouldn't you feel like a badass because like this is a fucking giant ass animal. It's almost like going after a tiger.
But
like tigers I don't think are that aggressive.
I don't think so, yeah. I mean, I know if you get around them, I mean, because they're territorial, I think. So if you get in their territory, then you're in trouble, but it's not like they see you from afar and they're like, I'm going to kill that thing. Unless they're hungry.
Look at you. So, okay, so A, like you feel like a badass because you're like, holy shit, I just killed this fucking monster, basically. And number two, like, wouldn't you feel like extremely patriotic?
Yeah.
You're like, man, the last person to kill a Nazi was like probably my grandfather. But here I am. Nazi Carol! America!
I kind of wonder, like if they did have like these hunting reserves for them. You go out to hunt one, they're like, okay, here's your spear, here's your knife, go on, good luck, have fun. You drop like 10 grand to do this or some ridiculous amount of money. And like you get there and like you see it and you start stocking up on it. But it's like just hanging out, eating grass. You walk over, like it doesn't like get mad at you at all. It just like walks up and nuzzles you. You're like, aw. Stab.
Yeah.
It charged me.
And then like a head comes out, like another cow head, like comes
as a decoy
up to you from the side. You're like, clever girl.
When it falls to the ground, the horns fall off. And it's like a really small like dog. Drags you back to its lair. There's like just like it's got prisoners all over. Yeah.
Nazi propaganda everywhere. Written like drawn in crude paint because they don't have fingers. It's just like hooves, like hoof marks.
I got another one.
Swastikas. Franz, look what I did.
Put it with the other ones. Check his pockets for ice cream.
And soon we shall feast.
Oh, you wake up and it's just gnawing on a stub of your leg. No.
Yeah, I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to bring you that story. Nazi super cows.
I still like the idea of like
are a
a
thing.
young Hitler with the last one. It's his, it's his buddy, his friend.
They're like skipping around.
Got a nice little cowbell ring.
Let's paint together, Mr. Sparkles.
Like, oh look, it's Mr. Adolf and his little friend, Mr. Sparkles. They're so cute.
It's like a sitcom.
Hitler and Mr. Sparkles.
Actually, no. You know what? It's like a kids show. It's like a German version of Dora the Explorer. Adolf and Mr. Sparkles.
So,
what do we need to do to the Jews? Louder.
Oh man. What's little Adolf doing now? He's writing a book on something important, apparently.
That's amazing.
Hitler and Mr. Sparkles.
So there's where I'm at. I saw that story 2 days ago, and I knew this. This had to be. I had to bring this up.
It's a great story. It's very, very interesting and like very much fits with what we've talked about before. I always love whenever we talk about something and then I go to the internet and either something like related to that is on or like something that makes it even better. And I just want to talk about it.
There it is. This is This is the Sparkles to our podcast painting. Yeah.
There it was.
There it was.
Well, I don't have anything big, but I did just get back from a vacation. Went to the great country of Mexico.
I know, I was sad.
I tried to take you, but
I
Tiffany
was
said
very
no.
Oh.
I was like, but we gotta do the podcast down there. It'd be perfect.
Well, okay, so it's like you and your wife in Mexico. Ooh, what do you do the whole time?
You just eat way too much food and like swim in the pool too long is all you really do. But
yeah. It's not like you're going to have any fun. I mean, God.
You leave the Midwest and there's snow on the ground and you get off the plane in a coat and, long johns and it's 87 degrees. Oh, it's so miserable. But there's not really we didn't really have any big stories while we were there. I mean, we met some people. It was really fun. But what really, it's very much a first world problem. But we get out of the hotel, heading back to the airport to come back home. And, right away, there's people sitting next to us, and they're bitching the whole time about, anything and everything. It's like, listen, fuckers, you just got out of Mexico. What the fuck are you bitching about?
What were they bitching about?
They handed out, these, survey type things. Like, hey, we want to know about such and such, and about how you enjoyed your trip. And the guy's like, oh, I'm going to need some extra room because he said something about the scuba diving wasn't what he expected. So I don't know if he went on an excursion and it was terrible or what the deal was, but I mean, these people were complaining about how the food was bad and how it sounded like they took him somewhere that was just god awful and left them there to fend for themselves. But I mean,
they just drove him out to an island and dropped him off.
Good luck.
Here you go.
But because I mean, you're weighted on hand and foot basically. I mean, it really felt weird the first time I ever went there because you finish eating. And you're the waiters come back over, you need anything else? It's like, no, it's like, do we need to do anything? Do we need to say goodbye to you or what do we do? They're like, no, you just leave.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of that stuff is most of those places it's usually all inclusive, isn't it? Where you just
yeah,
you go and you eat and then you just get up and leave.
Yeah, get up and leave. Usually, I mean, we tip usually.
That would freak me out.
I mean, we've done it a couple times, so we're kind of used to it now, but it still feels really, really weird. Where we go in Mexico, they don't say you have to tip, but we do, just because it's what we're used to doing. But apparently, there are some resorts in Jamaica where you can't tip. The workers cannot accept tips. If they do, they get in trouble.
Okay, on the subject of tipping, I would say this. I mean, the way the world works right now, you have to tip because if you don't, you're an asshole. And I totally agree with that. The people that work for those tips, like waiters, waitresses, whoever, they need that money. They're not, that's their money. They need that money. You have to give, but I would like to live in a world where we just don't tip at all. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I don't tip and I don't want to. I completely do. I've worked in enough restaurants. You have to tip. Yeah. That's just if you. But the reason I say that we should live in a world where we don't tip, why can't the business just pay the server enough to work? Why can't the restaurant just pay the person that's serving you food?
Yeah, that is kind of weird. I didn't know for the longest time that you're supposed to pay or you're supposed to tip the person that cuts your hair because no one ever really tells you that kind of stuff. And so back when
you see that little jar there, and then it's oh, I'm supposed to give you money.
Yeah, I'm paying for this haircut. Why do I need to give you money? Why do I need to tip you? Don't you get paid here?
Yeah, I see. You see it all. I mean, you see all sorts of times where you're receiving some sort of service or something, and then you see a kind of a cup off to the side that says tips appreciated, and you're like, oh, am I supposed to put money in there? Is it?
And you never know how much. Like how
I
much
mean,
are you supposed to tip on a haircut?
Yeah.
Like they're like, well, like 20%. And it's like, well, $3. That seems kind of like that's not that much.
Right. Well, and like here's my thing with tipping. You know, I always tip, and I always tip very fair. And when I say fair, I usually go, I think, for like a food bill, I think they say the average is 15. I usually go at least 20.
Yeah, same here.
Um,
Well, like haircuts, like I don't really know what the thing is for that, but I usually give them like
Yeah, I
$10.
don't know,
So
yeah.
like it's a $15, $12 haircut. I give them $10 more.
sure.
And what's
But here's my thing with tipping. Like, it's like, when it comes to tipping, like, why can't the place just pay the person a decent wage, and then I don't have to worry about it? I don't have to worry about making sure that I've given that person enough money. It's like, to me, it's like you go to the store and you buy a pair of jeans. Now, when you go to the, let's say you walk into, I don't know, Abercrombie and Fitch. I've never even set foot in one, but I'll use that as an
what's up,
example.
bro? Need some jeans, bro?
You walk in Abercrombie and Fitch, and you take your clothes up to the counter, and the person behind the counter says $40, and you give that person $40, and then you walk out with your jeans. Now, what if why can't that work the same way with a restaurant? Like, why? Like, it's like to me, it's like going up to the counter with your jeans, and then the person behind the cash register says, "Well, that'll be $30, and you tell me if the stock boy gets a tip."
Well, how much did I tip the stock by? Whatever feels comfortable.
Yeah, whatever's good for you. And then, like, if that person doesn't tip the stock boy, then the person that's selling the jeans is like, "Oh, that guy was an asshole. Like, not my fault." But yes, it is your fault. Like, just pay him. Just as the person that owns a restaurant or something like that, just pay the server a full wage, and then I don't have to worry about supplementing your income.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just because that's just tradition with like serving and stuff like that that's built in, or I don't know if there's some kind of, because I mean, obviously, if they start paying them the money they make from tips, then the food's going to increase quite a bit. I mean, you figure it'd have to increase by at least 20%, right?
Well, you would think. I mean, I actually watched this video, and they were talking about the business of tipping, and they said that the reason tipping originated was it was before Prohibition. It was actually considered un-American to tip because it was usually like rich people that would try to give the servers money to get better service, and the servers wouldn't take the money because they felt it was undemocratic. Like, why should I give you special treatment just because you have a few extra bucks in your pocket?
Well, I know it stands for like to ensure proper service or something like that.
So then during Prohibition, obviously, alcohol has been deemed illegal, so restaurant sales actually plummeted, like totally tanked. Nobody went out to eat because you couldn't eat and drink. So then restaurant owners would encourage people to tip because in a lot of cases the restaurant owners couldn't afford to pay people to serve food. So it started as that, and then it just stuck. It's just one of these traditions that just stuck.
Well, and to me too, like I really wish it was back to where, like, I'd rather tip at the very beginning, because what happens, like a lot of times I try to tip really well because it's one of those things. If I keep coming back, I'd like to see that they notice that I tip really well, and then you get better service. But the problem is if you go to any restaurant multiple times, usually you don't see the same person, so they don't really know. I know whenever we worked in the restaurant, it was really easy to identify the people who didn't tip well because that got around really quick. But the reverse of that, I don't know if that happened as much. I mean, I know we had a couple that came into our restaurant a lot, and everybody knew to take care of them because they stayed late, but they tipped extremely well.
They did. And also there was a what was it? There was a study that said that statistically, um, people on average tip roughly the same, regardless of whatever kind of service they receive. And if they do tip better for some reason, like the reasons are all over the place and they're usually completely arbitrary.
Yeah, I mean, I just tip as is. Like, I don't know if I really have like if I have extremely good service, extremely bad service. I think I usually end up tipping about the same. That 20%. If somebody's really really good, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, here you go. Here you go. Pack House Meats, a restaurant that opened in Newport, Kentucky in January, doesn't allow tipping at all. Like they have signs all over the place that say, please don't tip the servers, whatever, whatever. So you're not supposed to tip in this restaurant. Servers at the restaurant make a minimum wage of $10 per hour, but they can also make 20% of their sales in commission.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Which I'd be totally down for. Like if I'm a server, I mean, I'm sure you had nights where you you walked away with, let's say you had like $200, or let's say you had like you made like $150 in tips. Like your sales were probably around 2,000.
Yeah.
Like not in food and booze and everything else.
Well, I think as a server, you'd like that because you'd know your consistency a little better. Because like there could be nights where you have those huge sales, but you had enough bad tips that you end up working your ass off but not making any money. But with this system, you work your ass off, you're gonna get a consistent amount of money from the commission.
Yeah, and not only that, you're gonna encourage people. You're gonna try and upsell them shit.
Yeah.
Like instead of hey, don't get the tequila out of the well. That tequila's crap. You should get that Jose Cuervo that's sitting on the shelf.
It's only $2 more. It's not that big a deal.
It's only $2.
You don't have to tip. There it is.
Let's see, 20%, which is based on sales volume, the quality of service, and a few other factors. If it's higher than that wage, that means that on average, the servers are making $15 an hour. The $10 an hour becomes a safety net when you come in and it's dead, or you're working through the middle of the afternoon and we don't really have any business. So regardless, you're making $10 an hour at this place. But if your sales kick up, if it's a Friday night, a Saturday night, or there's an event around that's close and you get rammed, like you could walk out with $200-$300. I mean, 20%. That's that's not it's not hard to rack up $1,000-$2,000 in sales on a busy night.
And I don't know what the average is for like servers, just like normal tipping. If they end up making like the 20% on their tips, or if it's more or less, I'm sure it varies. But I don't know. It's just like most consistent. Like you have a salary job, so you pretty much get like a consistent check each week or every other week. I would think that'd kind of help out on that. Is that you're going to get a specific amount of money consistently. The only bad thing, I know a lot of servers like to have that money in hand each night. So this would be a little bit different.
That is the thing with servers. You like that cash in the pocket. It makes it easier to drink at the bar that night,
or pay for something during the week.
Prostitutes?
Yeah, prostitutes.
Oh, prostitutes.
But yeah, tipping is always like, especially down there, it just seems kind of odd. I still try to tip, decent amount. But it's always weird to be like at the pool and you got the money. So like you're either getting the money wet in the pool or you have to leave it in your bag, which there never seems to be much of a big deal with like thefts and things like that. But it's still one of those things that's hard to relax when like, you got $20 in your bag that's you can't see because you're in the pool or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have to worry about getting ones and all that stuff. So that's always kind of a pain in the butt too. But
I always wondered, like, why, like, places that have pools, like, I never understood places that have pools that are right next to a beach.
Most of it is, I think that, like, in Mexico right now, the pool's kind of made to be warmer because it was still a little chilly, so the ocean was freezing. but the pool is more comfortable. And I think just some people enjoy like relaxing in a pool compared to like relaxing in a body of water that's has waves coming in and all that jazz. And sharks. One of the.
Did you have to fly over the water?
Yeah. That's always my big fear is that like that's where we're gonna crash. I always hope it's at least on the way back, because then it's like, okay, well at least we got to enjoy our trip. We can go down now, it'll be all right. But like I always have that fear like we're gonna be going there. It's like, oh, we're almost there. Oh God, we just crashed in the ocean. You're floating in the water.
Take
the girl.
Well, I'm glad you survived. I'm happy.
So I guess the big question is, if you went to one of these resorts and they had a hat cow on the menu, would you tip the server for that hat cow?
I'll tell you what I'm wondering is if you were, chilling in a pool or you're chilling in a pool and you're like, oh, I flew here and we didn't crash and I didn't have to worry about a shark attack. And then you see two horns going through the water in the pool. And it's like, dude, Mr. Sparkles?
Oh, shit. So, do you have any Richard's closing thoughts?
Genetic engineering is we should not play God. And the Nazis tried to play God, and look what we got. We got a bunch of unruly cattle that I still feel like we should keep a very close eye on. So
beware the cows.
Beware. So I think this should be a warning to mankind. Let's stay away from, bringing back ancient evil cows and dinosaurs.
Anything that has Nazi anywhere in the title is probably not a good thing.
Agreed. Hopefully we won't see Nazi dinosaurs.
Because
that would be a terrible thing.
We're all fucked.
Right. So yeah, genetic engineering. I think that nature has a plan, and we should not interfere with that plan.
Nature finds a way. All right, well, I'll do a little housekeeping. Our website is languageofbromance.com. Our Twitter account is @languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Like us on Facebook and leave us a comment, and subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher. And where else are we, Richard?
That would be the Pod Brothers Network.
The best podcast site network on the internet.
Now. Yeah. Well, it's been that way for a minute.
Yeah, it's been for a while. All right. Well, anything else before I close her out?
No, not at all.
Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the beaver.
Oh no, it's got you.
Mr. Sparkles!
I found out about the podcast.